So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit and I'm the tiny one.
I know. I'm sick today.
Oh, you're so much better. And then I just heard it in the headphones like, oh my God, you're not good.
Listen, guys, I am almost never sick. Like, I don't know. I've never
known you since I was 14. I worked with you since 2016.
Yeah.
And I've never heard you as sick as you are right now.
Yeah. And I've never missed a day of work because of illness.
And you haven't still.
I still haven't. But you can hear. So I apologize to start with here. I'm really sorry that my voice is not 100%. So please bear with us. I promise I will provide value rather than the rich chocolate tone of Jason Shields' voice.
Yeah. Since last time, we've been in Mind Valley University.
It was amazing.
Holy cow, shit.
Yeah. So the largest...
I always try to, have this, you have a thing you need to hook off when you go into Buzzsprout where we post a podcast.
Yeah.
And you have to say, is it explicit material? And I always wonder, how long out in the podcast do we get before we say a word that makes me having to check that? Today it went 1.5 minutes.
There you go.
That was with
potty
introduction.
mouth.
That was with introduction. So,
We're potty mouths.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was holy cow shit.
There you go. Thank you.
Holy.
I appreciate you. Yeah. It was, we balanced it out. So the largest online learning platform in the world is called Mind Valley University.
It's called Mind Valley.
Yeah, but this was Mind Valley University.
This is the 3-week social gathering.
Social gathering for all the people who are up and coming and all the people who are doing extra education in order to make their lives amazing. And if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. It's very cool. And Marit and Siv and myself applied for stage time, and they looked at our CVs and they wanted us. And they didn't know that we were in the same company even. They just set us all up, and it was absolutely amazing.
It's the most fun. I can't remember the last time I had so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so amazing to this is different from what we normally do, because normally we have events.
Yeah.
So then we have, of course, a whole program, and we take you from A to B, like with the Full State Continuum weekends. Next one is in February. We soon live with it.
Yeah, the September one sold out, guys. Sorry, but the next one in February, there's still some spots.
It's going to be a tiny new twist on it.
Yeah.
Getting back to that later in a new other podcast, not this one. It was different because we had you and Steve had 50 minutes and I had 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So we were allowed to kind of present our message, if you would like, for that time. So you had the difference between philosophy and mysticism.
Yeah, and how that relates to performance.
Amazing. And it was so fun to see all the guys coming up to Jason afterwards and just loving on you. Love that. And the thing was, we were so, it's new. We haven't been there before. So when we arrived early because we've been to things where you stand in line for 2 hours and you were on stage at 10 and they opened at 8:30. So, we have to be early. Turns out we were the first one there. So we kind of was sitting there and Daryl came over to us.
Yeah.
A new friend.
I love Daryl.
And we were able to really kind of get to know the people backstage there, which was really nice.
Yeah, Daryl showed up and he just took care of us. He orientated us and told us about how the group works and all this stuff. And he, asked us if we'd been there before. He didn't recognize us. He was one of the guys that was volunteering, and he just took care of us, got me in where I was going to be speaking, because we literally land the night and I wake up in the morning and I'm the very first talk on the Monday morning. And I don't know the people that I'm speaking to, meaning that, of course, in a big crowd, which I spoke to many times, I don't necessarily know everybody that's there. But this was different because we didn't know what the culture of this group of people was. I didn't know what mixture of people I was going to be speaking to. And that was very interesting because I had an NBA basketball player. I had the 5th ranked world sand volleyball player right next to him. And on the other side of the room, I have a guy who has a giant company with over 100 employees in Israel that's making probably about, $40 million a year, right? And that's just a range. And everybody else, of course, everybody's special, but we're talking about performance individuals. So we got everything from people who are shamans doing ayahuasca trips on one side.
Yes, we had.
Yeah. To Olympic athletes and multi-millionaire people on the other side. And they are digging us. Marit got a standing ovation. People were loving what she was serving up.
It was so much fun. It's the most fun I've had. I can't remember anything being that much fun. And I was super nervous. And I said to you, I'm so grateful that I've been competing in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So much. Because it was rare, and this is, and that's why this is not my question for today, by the way. But the reason why I brought it up, because it also helped me really understand the process I've been working with. Because if you've been with us for a long time and you come to our event, you will hear Jason say this over and over again. You're not your mind, you're not your emotions, you're not your body. But to really understand that is different. Because you kind of, in Norwegian, you say "hjertet med," which in Norwegian, in English will be...
Yeah, it's hard to say, but you just basically agree to agree.
But you kind of understand it because my head managed to be calm. It was actually totally empty. Like I said, I told you right before, I said, I just hope a word will come out because right now it's empty. So
it's perfect.
It's going to be perfect. And I also knew that no one's going to boo me because I assume at least they're nice people. And no one is trying to break my legs, break my arm, or choke me out.
That's
so for once in my life, competing, if it's going to look at performance, it's me against me and not me against jiu-jitsu people, which is also the other 50%. Because in jiu-jitsu, I'm 50% and the other person is 50.
Yeah.
And I just hope my 50 is going to be 51 and they're going to have 49.
That's it.
But I'm like, okay, they're not going to choke me out or break me or take my knee. So I'm good. And emotionally, I was also calm and excited. But from experience, I was also grounded. But my body was freaking the out. It was so interesting. I'm like, I'm in the pit right now.
Yeah.
I know I'm not, but my body cannot see the difference between the pit in a world championship and this situation.
Yeah.
It's totally different, but my body doesn't realize. And that was extremely fascinating.
Yeah.
To really see that although I know the body is still an animal, it doesn't necessarily know the difference. And when we have our everyday life and our body reacts, well, it does know better.
Yeah.
Because it's a stressed situation, because you want to perform, you want to do good. I've never been on a stage before in my life, and I did very good though. Yay.
She rocked it. It was like basically a fish in water.
Yeah, it was so fun because I couldn't look over where Steve and Jason was sitting because they were hugging each other.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm so proud.
And then I was angry at Jason afterwards because like, you took a picture, right? And he said, no. And he takes pictures, everything. He stops when we walk every time to take pictures of stuff. But when I'm on stage,
of flowers, of bees,
for the first time ever, no pictures.
Because I was so excited.
But it was like, you see in movies where you have the mom and dad watching the kid doing the first ballet session.
Yeah.
It was like that. So I'm like, I can't look at that corner over there because then I see them.
Yeah.
So let's look to the left.
Smart.
Very fun. And we have rebranded the trauma releasing exercises.
Yep.
We are working closely with the founder, David Briselli. And we are calling it neurogenic integration technique.
Yeah, that's correct. Now, David Briselli, world-renowned traumatologist, the originator of the trauma releasing exercise system, has passed the mantle to Steve. It's so amazing. She basically has proven herself capable and worthy of taking that over to spread this throughout the world. It's now neurogenic integration technique as a part of the system that we're using in the integrated human. And this system creates basically the passageway. It clears out the channels in your nervous system so that you can perform at your absolute peak. Now, that was one of the things we were talking about in the system with these athletes. I said, you're pretty coachable if you're an Olympic athlete. And that's true. Everybody who's a top level athlete has one thing in common: coachability. But the question is, how coachable are you on the inside? How clear is the channel between your highest beliefs and ambitions and what you're doing? How much crap are you doing that doesn't serve you, that doesn't serve you? That's the whole thing. And to clear out that trash basically makes you a person who flows naturally into the flow state. Your basic state is the flow state. And as soon as you get the trash out of the way, you find yourself there all the time. Now, if you talk about if you talk to the people who are doing flow state work now, they think that you have to be an extreme sporter, or you have to jump out of an airplane, or you have to do something extreme. But that's not the case, because those things, yes, they make you align yourself, because if you don't, what happens?
You die.
You die. You're dead, son.
You hit the ground.
You hit the ground, right? You have to perform, just like in jiu-jitsu. But you can also find this state easily when you're just reading a book, or you're learning something, that you're meditating or whatever, and that's where we are. We are in that flow state all the time when you clear the channel. That's what this process in integrated human does. It's your inner coachability. It clears that out. It increases your coachability, that connection. Now, getting that process moving, sometimes you have to get rid of some trauma. Mm-hmm. Who's ever had some trauma?
Not me. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
That's another conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation.
But we had that also, and this was fun because we had then an IT, and usually this is a 4-hour course.
Oh yeah.
Steve managed to hammer this shit down to an hour.
It's insane.
And just to give a taste of what it is, and we had a full house because we need some space. So we were over 70 people. We weren't able to count, but we counted at least 70, and everybody was shaking.
Yeah.
It was so insane to feel 70 people shake. So I'm looking forward to when we're looking for locations where we have wall space for 70 people, to have this, include that in most of our events, because I know that's going to be amazing. So, and just before I round that thing up, I have to also say thank you to Steve Allen.
Steve Allen,
we love you.
We love you, man. You're an amazing human being. You gave us so much comfort and strength and friendship while we were there. Steve was one of the guys working with Mind Valley, arranging all of the
He was the guy that
talks.
selected us.
He selected us.
Without knowing we were almost related.
Yeah, basically. He just fixed everything for us so that we could give a great performance. I'm so appreciative of you, Steve. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, today's question, after all of that, because
bring it.
What we did, I can't explain how much I loved that session, and I can't wait for the next one. And we are now looking for other opportunities to have more of that type of performances, if I'm going to call it that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, how many hours have you meditated in your life? Yeah.
Okay. I don't. Well, this is the now. I just want to make a small aside because it's going to freak you out. But at a certain point, when you've been sitting and meditating, and then you start moving and meditating, and then you integrate meditation into everything, you never stop meditating. So I literally wake up in the morning having meditated all night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it
You've done some yoga. Right, done some yoga.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you are a Reiki master.
Yeah, Reiki master teacher.
Yeah, shamanistic practitioner.
Yeah.
Yes. So and then you have gone to Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
You have done Tony Robbins.
Yep.
Yeah. So you've done some stuff.
I've done all the stuff.
And Marit
and Sri Shavi, Ravi Shankar, and Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
Yeah, all those.
Bhagwan Rajneesh.
Yeah, it's a reason why I don't say all those names.
I'm
gonna get there.
I, as they say, I went there, I got the t-shirt, and I wore the t-shirt out.
Yeah. So you've done some of that. You also lived with the woo-woo yoga pants people, and
I've been in meditation movements and cults, and I like seeing the shit.
Yeah, you done some.
A whole.
And
if you have questions, send the questions, because I know you now have lots of questions.
Please send them in. We will answer them.
Yes, we will.
Second, Siv also have done some.
Oh,
like she has. She's done cancer research. She has meditated from. I can't even.
Yeah.
Moved to Norway.
We're both biologists.
Yes.
We're both biologists. Degreed at university. She has a master's degree in physiology. She actually is a specialist and quoted in research, the biggest research project ever in the world about women's health. She's a co-author. Just people don't know this.
Oh, she forgets it herself.
Yeah, she forgets it because it's a while back. But she also did a lot of cancer research, skin cancer research. I was the one that actually pulled her off the skin cancer research because she was going to get her PhD in that. But I said, listen, you do not want to be stuck in a laboratory your whole life. You should be working directly with patients and not with cells. Please come to chiropractic school, please. And she did.
I'm very grateful for that.
Yes, so we're doctors of chiropractic. Yeah. Yes.
So she's also done some meditating and done all that yoga and
I started when I was 5. She started when she was 11. And all the other stuff that I did, she did.
Yeah. So you've done some.
Yeah.
I'm a second lieutenant in the army. I've done some emotional work. If you paid any attention to what's been going on the last 3 years.
Yep.
We've done some.
Yeah. You've done a whole lot.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
We've done some.
Yep.
And then we get this amazing opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And now coming to the question. It took me just 18 minutes. And people say, oh, you're so lucky. So my question is, and I was like, first of all, thank you. I think. Second, I'm not lucky. Third, I prefer to be called fortunate. So what's the difference? And then they go, huh? No, but that's the same. I said, no, it's not the same. I didn't just trip over a stage pass at Mindvalley University. It just didn't kind of all of a sudden happen. It didn't just fall into my lap.
Yeah.
What's the difference between being lucky and being fortunate?
That's a very good question. So being lucky is not getting hit by the truck you didn't see. Being fortunate is being in a position to take advantage of the opportunities that show up.
Okay, that was a little bit short answer.
Okay.
We're not
done yet.
Okay.
Oh,
I need like 15 more minutes of podcast.
Yeah.
So can you please elaborate?
So here's a point.
Give something valuable for the people.
When I talked about performance in Mindvalley University, I talked about the fact that your mystical experiences, because a lot of people are doing ayahuasca, they're doing mushrooms and all that. And yes, they're doing DMT And it's not just the shabby hippies, the dirty hippies that are doing it. I mean, we're talking about CEOs from Silicon Valley. We're talking about big business people doing DMT to try to basically expand their minds. This is a movement, guys, because people are realizing that, just having money and just having a Rolex and all this stuff, or just having a hot guy or a hot girl in your life or whatever, people are not happy anyway. They're still not happy because they know somewhere inside them that there's something more. The problem is that instead of listening to, for example, smart, sound investment advice, people pay attention to the lottery winners. They pay attention to the super fantastic, I bought 3 NFTs and a Bitcoin and now I'm a multimillionaire.
We're a multimillionaire.
Yeah, but there's so few of them actually, and so many people who have wasted their money. It's so stupid that it's like this, meaning I'm not calling people stupid. I'm saying the situation's so stupid that people want the big bang right now. That's luck. People want to get lucky. Because
me walking and a golden bar just all of a sudden drops right in front of me.
That's it.
I luckily didn't get hit by it.
Yeah.
And very lucky it ended right in front of me.
Exactly. So the only criticism that I was able to find in the people coming up to me, and I had people, I mean, I couldn't walk 3 meters without talking to somebody.
It was amazing to watch.
It was so much fun and so many wonderful people. I made so many great contacts. But the criticism was one guy was kind of a little sad because he was pretty sure that the secret, meaning that if you just focus on something and meditate on something a lot, that it should come into your life, right? That you should be able to manifest this thing in your life. And I had said that it's not about you, like you are now, wanting something bad enough to get it, because that's not going to happen. But you have to want it so much that you become the person that it is natural for that thing to come to. Okay? So the example that I gave, that anybody who was standing beside me when I won the world championship in jiu-jitsu, anybody who was near me during my training saw what I was doing in order to win. Like, of course, everything legal, but I did all the work. I didn't do some of the work. I did all the work. And I didn't show up to some trainings.
You showed up to all the trainings.
All the trainings. And I didn't try to max out some of the trainings. I maxed out all the trainings. And I did everything. Like, I did the restitution. I did the eating right. I did the sleeping right. I did everything right. I had a group of people around me that I was taking care of, that they were also taking care of me so that I could train. My wife was taking her piece of it. If you look at my thank yous and congratulations and giving the honor away to people, you just see the list is so long on my Instagram if you want to go in and check it out. But the point is, nobody thought that it was unnatural that I won. If you ask people, were you surprised? Nobody was surprised because I did everything. Because I had become that person that it was natural for that thing to come to. But you can look at me and say that I was still very fortunate. I wasn't lucky because I did the work, but I was very fortunate because I got the opportunity to show up injury-free, for example. I could have gotten hit by a car. I could have, people get injured on the way in the mat. Something happens, you get food poisoning. I mean, you've done
that part
and actually won the gold medal.
I did win though.
Got the gold medal.
Didn't have any choice by winning because if someone touched my stomach, I was going to puke all over the mat.
Yeah, right. You see, that's the point. It's like there's some fortune. Fortune means wealth, and you don't just get wealth. You make wealth. You make your own fortune, literally, and you are fortunate. Lucky is the lottery winner. Lucky is being born the son of somebody or the daughter of somebody. Lucky is, the person who wanted something just real bad and then suddenly it showed up somehow in their life. But that is so seldom. It's such an exception. But that's why it also gets the attention, because it's an exception.
Yeah, it's so out of the normal.
It's out of context.
Yeah, so it's just It shouldn't happen.
And people desire this thing. Now, this is the fucked up thing, okay? This is the outside in thinking. This is the really interesting thing. It is because if there is a God, and if God loves you and you're God's special child, shouldn't you get the exception from the norm? Shouldn't
Yes, I
you
should.
be? You
Of course
should.
I should.
And then then you're lucky because God has done what to you?
Favored me.
Favored you, which means if he didn't favor you,
I'm not the God of the child of God.
then you're not the special child of God, and our ego tells us then there is no
God.
God. Ha ha! Bam, bitches. That's the whole point. Right? So
All the bad words today.
I'm sorry, but that's why people have this thing that they want to be lucky and that they're buying lottery tickets and all that. And I'm trying to explain to them, you literally have a bigger chance of getting hit by lightning 5 times on the same day than winning that thing in lottery at all and winning any amount of money in the lottery. So if you win anything, God bless you. That's amazing. But the fact that you give them your money every week thinking that you're going to win, and also thinking that if you continue to buy lottery tickets that your chances go up, which they don't because they're just as seldom each time you do it, people don't want to hear that. They want to be lucky because then there's God's special child, and then that means that there is a God. Now, the funny thing is, now this is the interesting thing. When people are lucky, it's often the worst thing that happens to them. And everybody's like, well, what do you mean? Well, let's say that you want the secret your life, and I'm going to win $180 million. A guy in California won $1.08 billion.
That's a sick amount of money.
It's so much money. One guy won that much money. So he's as rich as Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns Amazon. I mean, he's a billionaire. He's literally the top, I don't know, like 6 people in the world. Maybe it's more, maybe top 100. I don't know, but it's so much money. That person did not earn that money, which means they have no behaviors in order to handle that much money. They don't know how to invest. They don't know how to save. They don't know how to protect themselves from the opportunities that show up.
Or all the poison people are going to take their revenge on you right now, or say that you owe them something. Or...
Everybody's going to want a piece of that shit. And if you look at lottery winners, the lucky people, over 90% of them, after 5 years, have horrible family relationships, are broke regardless of how much money they made. Some of them are in debt because they took out loans in order to cover pieces of investments because the last ones didn't work. And I'm a lucky person, obviously, because I won this money. Therefore, I'll take out a loan to cover up the rest of this investment because I'm going to get my money back. Wrong, friends. The whole point is that because they have no internal structure that allows them to handle all of the power they've been given, it's like putting a kid behind the steering wheel of a Ferrari that's moving 230 kilometers an hour. They have no idea where it's going to end up. They have no idea how to work with it. It's a shit show, right? So being lucky, I would say if somebody's lucky, they're unlucky. Because they haven't earned this. They haven't earned a fortune. They haven't earned. They haven't become fortunate.
And because you got that hit of dopamine.
Dopamine, bang bang.
Just double checking what right word.
Yeah.
Dopamine. You're gonna always crave that again.
Ding ding ding.
You've had it once. It's kind of, if you have had a spiritual awakening once, you're gonna for sure start getting that again.
Yep.
That's why we recommend you do that with hard work and not with ayahuasca. Not saying ayahuasca is bad, but
exactly. Well said.
Do the work.
Well said.
But that's actually going to be the same thing.
It's going to be way better because then you've built the internal structure to handle that experience.
You can be. I don't know if you can become spiritual.
Oh,
instead of having an spiritual experience.
Exactly.
So you become fortunate instead of have had luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have luck once, but you're fortunate the rest of your life forever. And it's who you became in your jiu-jitsu allowed you then to transfer that to other things in your life, like talking on stage at Mind Valley University. And you killed it.
Yeah, there was no one trying to choke me. So it was quite
Well, that's,
pleasant.
yeah. Because,
Have a crazy lady coming after you.
Yeah.
Not with a knife, but
Yeah.
it feels like that sometimes.
but you built an internal structure that allows you to be efficient other places. Because when you are fortunate and you've built your fortune, those skills, those qualities that you build on the inside make everything in your life better. When you're lucky once,
And then you're gonna wreck your life trying to get that again.
exactly. And this is the next thing, because this is a special experience.
This is a much better answer than the 15-second one.
Well, the 50-second one was also correct, though. But yeah, I agree that.
No worries.
Now there's another thing with this whole being lucky thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you gamble in Las Vegas, they know what makes people addicted. If you win, regardless of the amount, if you win with the first 5 times you try it, the chances that you become addicted to gambling the rest of your life is 90%.
Good thing I've been in Vegas 3 times now. Never gambled a single dollar.
Don't do it.
Kind of want it.
Yeah. But think about that. Think about how fucked up that is.
Yeah, because you're going to have that also in the back of your head. But it happened once.
Yeah, that's it. And I know I'm hot. I'm winning. I know I'm just going to win. You guys, like my dad, Tom, he is a super mathematical genius. He's amazing. And I remember sitting in a hot tub in Las Vegas with him because I was there for some tournament or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, but people get lucky in Vegas too, right, Pop? And he's like, Jason, count the number of giant hotels here. And I'm like, okay, just from the hot tub, I could see 11, right? Each one of them has between 2,000 and 5,000 employees. And I'm like, say what? It's like, yeah, between 2,000 and 5,000 employees in each one of the hotels. And I'm like, okay. He says, do you think those are built on people winning? Or do you think that those are built off of people losing? And I'm like, oh. He said, then you understand the statistics. Then you understand also human beings, because people will throw their whole life away to feel lucky when they could just have been fortunate. Instead, if they just decided to structure their life and work.
How do you then build fortunate? Well, is that the answer then?
Yeah, it's internal. It's up, down, inside out. And that's part of this coachability thing. Because when you really know what you want from your highest goals and ambitions, and you understand that it's not about the world championship in jiu-jitsu, it's about who you become while you're becoming that thing, that then applies to the rest of your life. Like Marit just killed it in Mind Valley University and got a standing ovation.
Yeah, that was why I stopped competing.
But that's it, because you max yourself out in competing. You don't want to compete anymore. It's like, it's not worth the medal.
Like I said, it's not the medal.
It's not the medal.
I did everything. Because in that last competition, it was for the first time ever a technical thing. I should have gone right instead of left. And I have had the worst day ever with a broken jaw and fever and all that.
Oh, Jesus.
But, with that...
eyes swollen shut,
yeah,
bros, and ladies, like her eyes literally look like Kermit the Frog's, and she couldn't see the day before. Like, it was insane.
No, so it was kind of I mastered it.
Yeah, you mastered it.
So then it was kind of, if I can master this.
Yeah.
And then we saw again how much it's gonna cost, in the way of focus to go again. And like, I can win now.
Yeah.
So I don't need to.
Yeah.
In a way.
That's it.
Because I would rather focus on continuing my process and develop myself instead of grinding this out one more year, because my process is more important than the medal.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more to find here for me now.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, and taking those lessons to build the next layer of your life. And it's so beautiful because you now are starting the next layer of your life 1,000 kilometers ahead of everybody else, because that experience gave you qualities, but also gave you depth in a way that you couldn't have gotten anywhere else, because you can't find another place that would put you in danger, that much danger, in such a safe way. Really take you to your limit of survival without actually killing you, pushing your body that hard without actually wrecking you. Like, it's such a beautiful thing you did, right? And now it's time to level up, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, no, because I got a little bit like, no, I wasn't lucky. I worked hard for this
You
stuff.
worked hard.
No, and I just think that it's also important when you talk to yourself to build a relationship with fortunate and not with luck.
Yeah.
Because the first time I actually heard that was Tom, your dad, that said that to me.
Yeah.
Because I said, "Oh, I'm so lucky working with Steve and Jason." And then Tom said, "No, you're not lucky. You're fortunate." And I'm like,
Because you're taking advantage of those opportunities and filling up the box. And I told you in the beginning, if you fill up the box, what happens to the box?
get a bigger box.
You get a bigger box. Has that been true?
Yes.
A whole nother level true, because that's the way it works. The problem is that people think it's boring. You mean I have to work? I have to take the steps? Yeah, you can just decide to take the steps and get moving, or you can resist it and try to get lucky, and then in the end have to take the steps anyway. No, but I'm God's special child. And because I'm a believer, I know sooner or later, little baby Jesus is going to give me a blessing, and I'm going to get that lottery. I'm going to hit that lottery. Well, good for you. Love you long time. Hope you get that. And I hope that you become fortunate with it and not lucky. Right? So remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day, and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.